My name is Emma, and this is my story. It's a story of love, mistakes, resilience, and finding hope even in the darkest times. I was a quiet child. The kind of child who observed the world but rarely participated in it. I didn't talk much, and I didn't have many friends. My parents were strict to the point of isolation. No playing outside. No friends over. No hobbies, they'd say. I spent my days indoors, gazing out of the window, longing to play with the children I saw laughing in the street. But I stayed inside because they told me to. I didn't go to kindergarten, and by the time I started school, I was terrified. How will I talk to other kids? I asked myself. But as time passed, I made friends, though I was still quiet. I told myself, be quiet. Be safe. I found solace in art. Drawing felt like freedom, a way to express what I couldn't say aloud. I begged my parents to let me join art classes, but their answer was always the same. Focus on your studies. Art won't take you anywhere. So, I put my pencils away and did as they said. When I went to college, my world opened up a little more. That's where I met Ryan. He was everything I wasn't: loud, confident, and carefree. He made me laugh, something I hadn't done in a long time. You're so beautiful, he told me. For the first time, I felt seen. We talked for hours every day. Soon, he became my whole world. You're my best friend, he'd say, and I believed him. But as my feelings for Ryan grew, my dreams for the future began to shrink. I wanted to study, to build a career, to finally have something of my own. But Ryan didn't understand. Why do you need a degree? He asked one day. You can marry me. I'll take care of you. I was 18, and I was in love. I thought love would be enough. When Ryan proposed, I said yes, and just like that, I gave up my dreams for him. At first, our life together was good. We were happy. We had a daughter, Lily, a beautiful, sweet baby who became the center of my world. But as time passed, Ryan began to change. You can't wear those clothes, he said one day. He didn't like my tattoos or my short hair. Change your style, he demanded. I stopped meeting my friends because Ryan didn't want me to. You don't need them, he'd say. Stay home with Lily. I felt isolated and alone. Ryan started coming home late. When I asked where he'd been, he shrugged. With friends, he'd reply, dismissing me. One night, everything boiled over. Ryan came home angry, shouting at me for no reason. Then he did something I never thought he'd do. He hit me. I cried all night, wondering how the man I loved could hurt me like that. I wanted to leave, but I was scared. When I turned to my parents for help, they said, You're married now. Stay with your husband. It's your duty. So, I stayed. I told myself things would get better. I got pregnant again, and this time, I had a son, Jake. He looked just like me, and I loved him with all my heart. But Ryan didn't even come to the hospital to meet him. When I came home, he barely looked at me. Why are you back so soon? He asked coldly. I later found out why. Ryan had a girlfriend. He didn't even try to hide it. She loves me more than you do, he told me. Those words crushed me. I wanted to leave, but I had no money and no one to turn to. I felt trapped, like I was drowning and no one could hear me screaming for help. Then Ryan joined the army, leaving me alone with 2 kids. He called me one day, saying he'd found someone new and was happier without me. I was devastated. But just 3 months later, he called again. I made a mistake, he said. Please take me back. Despite everything, I still loved him. So, I said yes. We tried to fix our marriage, but Ryan didn't change. He still hurt me with his words, belittling me at every turn. Years passed, and though we stayed together, I often asked myself, why did I forgive him so many times? Why did I stay? Now, I'm 33 years old. We've been married for 16 years. Ryan tries to be better, but the scars of the past remain. I feel tired, like a shadow of the person I used to be. But when I look at Lily and Jake, I find the strength to keep going. Lily is 8 now, and she loves drawing, just like I used to. Jake is 4, and his laughter lights up the darkest days. One day, my neighbor Sarah knocked on my door. "Hi, Emma," she said with a warm smile. "Do you want to come over for tea?" I hesitated. Ryan wouldn't like it, but I was desperate for human connection. So, I went. Over tea, Sarah listened to my story without judgment. Then she said something that changed my life. "You're not alone. And you're stronger than you think." Her words stayed with me. With Sarah's encouragement, I started baking cakes and selling them from home. At first, it was a small venture, but soon, people began placing more orders. For the first time in years, I felt proud of myself. When Ryan found out, he was furious. "Why are you baking?" he shouted. "You don't need to work." But this time, I stood my ground. "I need this," I told him. "For me and for the kids." Ryan was shocked into silence. For the first time, I felt strong. Things didn't change overnight. Ryan still gets angry, but I've set boundaries. I told him, "If you ever hit me again, I'll leave." He didn't believe me at first, but I stayed firm. I knew I had to protect myself and my children. I started reconnecting with the person I used to be. I cut my hair short again. I wore colorful clothes. I felt like myself for the first time in years. Now, I'm focused on building a better future for me and my kids. I don't know if Ryan will ever change, but I know I have. I'm no longer the scared, quiet girl I used to be. If you're listening to my story, I want you to know this. You are stronger than you think. Even in the darkest times, there is hope. Don't give up on yourself. Thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share. Let's spread hope and remind each other, no matter what, we can survive and thrive.
Your support helps us keep creating valuable content. Thank you.